Sequoia and her composting friend, Squirmy the Wormy, are running off to see this week's HOP episode with environmental planner Rachel Workin.
Okay, well, welcome everybody to HOP, Helping Our Planet. I am so excited today to be with a good friend of the Earth. Her name is Rachel Workin, and she's the environmental planner for the city of Fridley. So hi, Rachel.
Hi, Ms. Mraz. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Excellent. So thank you, Rachel, for giving us your time. I just have a few composting questions for you, since this episode is on composting, and I know you're an expert in that area. Why is it so important, Rachel, for all of us to compost?
That's such a good question, and I'm so excited to be talking about compost with you guys. So once we throw away trash in our homes and it goes on the garbage truck, it doesn't just disappear. It gets taken to a landfill. And we only have a limited number of landfills here in the Twin Cities, and they're filling up fast. And so it's important that we keep as much stuff out of the landfill as possible so that we don't have to construct new landfills in the future. They estimate that about 30% of the stuff we send to the landfill is organic material. So that means our food and paper towels. And if we can keep that out of the landfills, then we can use it for something else, for something better, and that's compost. This material can get sent to a commercial composting facility and get recycled. It'll get broken down into compost, which looks kind of like dirt, but has way more nutrients and is way more useful.
Wow, that's excellent. So you mentioned where the compost goes, but what's the difference between a person composting like in their backyard versus somebody that gets compost picked up by maybe the city they live in?
Sure. So in my household, we do both. We have a backyard compost where we put a lot of our vegetables and table scraps, but we also use a commercial composting program. When we send our compost to a commercial composting facility, we can send a lot more stuff there. So these commercial composting facilities are accepting tons and tons and tons of material from all over the Twin Cities. Because they have so much material, they can build much larger piles. These piles can get much hotter than the piles in our backyards, so they can break down a lot more different types of items, and they can break them down much more quickly. In a commercial composting facility, it'll get hot enough to break down chicken bones or egg cartons or compostable plates, a lot of things that you would never put in your backyard compost. And it can do it really fast. A commercial composting facility can have your compost ready in 70 days, whereas a backyard compost can take twice as long. So when we use commercial composting facilities, we can keep even more stuff out of the landfill and make compost even faster. They're able to do this because they have these huge machines called windrow turners that are able to turn the giant piles of compost. They turn the compost every 2 weeks.
Wow, I want to go visit one of those sites. That sounds really
They are pretty
exciting. Cool. I have one last question for you, Rachel, and I'm wondering what happens to the compost after it gets created into soil at those large sites that you're telling me. What does it go somewhere, or what happens to it?
Yeah, there's a lot of different uses for compost. So there are 2 places in the Twin Cities that make the compost, and they sell it to a bunch of different people. These include garden centers, so people like you and me can purchase the compost to use in our vegetable gardens. And they also sell it to the highway department, and they use the compost when they're building roads. Compost is really special in that it can make both really, really clayey soils or really sandy soils function better for construction.
Wow, thank you. Oh, Rachel, I really, really appreciate you being with us on HOP today. And I know you do so many great things. I hope we can have you back on for another episode.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me and for composting.
Bye, Rachel.
Bye.
Take some time and research about joining a citywide composting program in your community. Let's all help our planet together. HOP!